guy who's able to sing the entire first verse of Annie, Are You Okay in like 15 seconds. It's crazy. Apparently, he was like a big star in the 80s and did a bunch of like commercials and crap. I was like, wow, that's impressive.
Oh, the guy that like talks really quick?
Yeah. Yeah, he did like a pizza commercial and like insurance and stuff like that. So like, I was like, that's pretty cool.
Okay. Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
I speak the most fast. I am a
I didn't know that guy was still around doing stuff.
He's not. It was from the 80s. I went
Oh,
down
it was from the 80s. Okay.
I went down a rabbit hole of random YouTube-ness. There's a great one.
That makes sense.
Remember in Endgame when like Peter's like clutching Thanos' glove like a giant dork, and Brie Larson's like, "What's up, Peter Parker?" Well, they re-edited the scene to include Tobey Maguire from the first Spider-Man movie, and he walks through the portal, and Brie Larson's Captain Marvel goes, "Hey, Peter Parker, you got something for me?" And they edited the glove into his hands, and he's like, "Yeah, I had to beat an old woman with a stick to get it." And I was like, "Oh, that's funny." So, Resident Alien starts in 50 minutes, and I'd rather do that than do this. I'm learning to be more honest from that show.
That's good.
Have you watched it yet?
I'm glad it can teach you things.
Right?
I have not.
It's a very good show. Alan Tudyk just says whatever's on his mind, and it's amazing.
Everything Alan Tudyk does is amazing.
Van Wayne. It's coming to Peacock next week, I think. So if you want to catch up on Resident Alien, you can do so by going to Peacock.
Apparently, so is the WWE Network.
Yes, and I already have Peacock, so I get to watch old WCW. Woo! I'm really hoping they've uploaded Saturday night by now because I miss those shows. Those were fun. Speaking of fun, let's get into Impact. This is Making an Impact Wrestling Podcast. I am your host, always, Chad Porto. He's Zach Duncan. This is going to be a thing, and now we're off on into it. It's the start of the show. It's Tasha Steelz and Kiera Hogan v. Jazz and Jordan Grace. They're really building up to the eventual showdown at Sacrifice this Saturday. So we'll be doing some quick.
This Saturday.
Jazz forces Tasha to submit Zachary. How you feeling about the build-up to their tag team title match on Sacrifice via Impact Plus this Saturday, probably at 8? I'm guessing.
Feeling pretty good about it. Jordan and Jazz are looking strong, and it's entirely possible that they walk out with the belts.
It is. Jazz seems pretty committed to her current run in Impact, which is a great thing because she's a hell of a hand, even in her late 40s, early 50s. I think she's like 48. So, hell yeah. I say more Jazz. And I'm not a fan of Jazz music, but I'm a fan of Jazz that did the knockout. Mama said knock you out. So we get ODB, and she's like, yeah, I'm going to beat Deanna Prazo's butt. And then she's like, all right, cool. I'm Susan. I want to fight you. And they're like, that sounds cool with me. So they're going to fight later in the show. And I was like, oh, okay. Then we get Sam Beal, and he's like, hey, Trey, I heard you were the big wussy. And Trey's like, I ain't a wussy. And then Sam Beal's like, you play ball like a girl. And then Trey's like, I'm going to beat you up. And I was like sitting here like, oh, okay. They kept talking about passion. You don't have the passion. And I'm sitting here just thinking to myself, God, I miss Fanta. Don't you want a Fanta? Don't you want a Fanta? Because they used to have a drink called like the passion fruit or something like that. It was real good. It was like 98% sugar, but still. Any thoughts on the Trey Sam Beal or anything else that we've seen so far?
Sam Beal could turn out to be a hell of a wrestler. He sounded like he read that promo off of cue cards behind Trey.
Do you feel
Was not great.
Passion tonight? Ooh la 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 la. trying to think of what the
Basically.
the Little Mermaid song was. Gistiger. Sha la 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 la. Fighty Miguel. Speaking of speaking of fighting,
Oh, no.
Rohit and Sierra took on James Storm and Chris Sabin. Storm's about to accomplish something that I'm going to go out on a limb and say no one else has ever done. In 2 matches, he will have competed 1,000 times in Impact Wrestling.
Ooh.
Yes. Dem's a lot of bouts.
Them's a lot, and one of them is going to come this Saturday.
Yeah. So, not much to talk about with this match. I will say that Shera hit James Storm with a giant-ass big boot that sent Stormer reeling. I was like, oh, jeez. That's a big kick.
That was pretty good. That was pretty good.
Yeah, go. No, or whatever it is. Lung blower and a cradle shock on Rohit gets the team beer motor money mouth the win. We'll go with that. Post match, yeah, but I don't like beer guns. I'm not a fan of beer. I'm not a fan of guns. Motor money works because you're cruising for a bruising in your pink Cadillac.
Where does the money come from, though?
It doesn't matter. It shoots out of the exhaust. Like, why are you making a thing out of this? Yes, I understand it's Bobby Roode's gimmick, but shut the fuck up, all right? America's Most Motor. There. Happy? God.
Yes. I'm all about it. I'm on board.
Triple XL and Reno Scum came up short against the tag team titles, and then they're yelling at each other. And then Decay walks up, and Triple XL's like, yoinks, deuces, bye-bye. And then Thornstone and Luster's like, this is our finish. No, not really. They thought it was an interesting idea to fight them. Thornstone does say, well, they'll take on all 3 of you, so is this going to be a handicap match? Is this going to be 3-on-2? Maybe it's going to be 3-on-3. Maybe this is the return of Christina Von Eerie that I've been hoping for since 2017. I don't know. We'll find out. Are you excited about the Reno Scum and the Decay?
I'm on board. I dig it. Crazy Steve with the best line to close out the segment of with Reno Scum walks away. He just looks at Rosemary. What a couple of freaks.
Yo, it's good to see the Reno Scum back on TV. I miss them. You know, Thornstone's a friend of the show. I mean, we did one interview, and I keep sending him cards, and I don't get anything back. Oh, that's not true. I did get a restraining order, but that's an opinion. You know, that's suggestion. Suggested techniques. Free to oppose as I wish. No, jokes aside, you know, he did an interview with us, and I thought he was a hell of a nice guy, and you know, yeah, I'm rooting for him, and half the reason why I fucking wanted to interview him in the first place is because I was already a fan. You know, the number of people that Global Force Wrestling found and brought to the forefront on just those like 4 or 3 weeks worth of tapings. Like, I think not 3 weeks. I think it was like 3 months. I think there's 12 episodes, 12 or 16. There's like a bountiful number of guys there. You got Reno Scum, you had Killer Cross, you got JR Kratos. Like, that's just some of them. Like, there's more. The Bollywood boys who are in WWE now. So, like, one of these days we're gonna look back at that. Anyway, so they're gonna have a match at Sacrifice. James Storm and Chris Sabin though are like, hey, Diener, it's cool. Don't worry about it. And EY's like, at least that's what I think he said. I'm not sure what Nick and Mallrats actually say.
Pretty much what it sounds like whenever he talks.
My favorite part was It's fun for me. I don't know why. I think this is the point in the show where Saban's like, he must have learned that from the WWE or something like that, or the WWE did that to him. I'm just like, ah, nice, with an O, nice. So Brian Myers then like, I'ma sue you, and Demore's like, motherfucker, what do you think this business is? Happy go fun time? No. And then he gets him to agree to a hold harmless match against Eddie at Sacrifice, and I'm like, couldn't just call it no DQ match. That's what it means. It says right here, hold harmless means there are no DQs, no countouts, and anything goes.
Yeah.
I guess they had to blame it on the Bossa Nova, Zach.
Clearly. I don't know what else you could blame it on, honestly.
Blame it on the Bossa Nova. Speaking of blaming on things, Trey Miguel blamed his victory on being better than Sam Beal. It was honest.
Yeah.
It was honest. You can't really say anything much more about it.
Honesty is important.
It is important. This is building up to the Sami Callihan Trey Miguel match that we're gonna get eventually, probably at Rebellion. Is that the next pay per view?
Yes, I believe so.
Because I don't think they've been booked for anything for No Surrender, but we'll find out when we check the card here in a couple seconds. Yeah. Then Sam comes out and they're like, "I'm gonna beat up Beal," and then everyone's like, "Okay, that's cool." Then we get the announcement that Saban and Storm will challenge Joe Doring and Diener to a tag team match at Sacrifice. I love me some Joe Diener, so I'm fine with this. And then Jake, somebody, or some ding on the wing. There's something on the wing. That's not how William Shatner sounds. I don't know what that was. Jake's
that wasn't even a good Jim Carrey William Shatner impression.
Well, I don't have the teeth to pull off a Jim Carrey doing a fucking William Shatner impersonation. Like Jim Carrey's teeth are like fucking skyscrapers, man. Did you know?
Yeah, that's fair.
Have you seen? Did you ever see him on In Living Color?
I've seen a few of the Fire Marshal Bill sketches.
Did you see Liar Liar?
Of course.
Did you know that Jim Carrey cameoed Fire Marshal Bill in a scene in Liar Liar?
I didn't. I haven't seen that since I've known about the Fire Marshal Bill stuff. So,
do you remember when Carrey's getting wheeled away at the airport and like there's all these people outside?
Mm-hmm.
Well, before Carrey comes in the shot, if you look into the crowd, you'll see Fire Marshal Bill in his fireman trappings in the background of his scene, and I saw that, and yeah, it's so cool. I was like, man, like Carrey in the '90s. I don't think there's anyone better. Like we always talk about like Sandler when he was good. I don't think Sandler was ever as good as Carrey.
No, I mean Sandler had Happy Gilmore and one of my favorites was always Little Nicky, but other than that, I mean Jim Carrey was on top of the world in the 90s.
Well, it's not even that. You think about the fact that like most of Sandler's 90s work were all the same type of characters. They were just loud buffoons.
Yeah, basically.
But you look at Carrey's, like Stanley Ipkiss was just kind of like a Clark Kent. He was bumbling over himself, and he was like, oh, all right. And then, you had Ace Ventura, who was a wild, crazy dude. Then you had the Cable Guy, who was like the severe, slurring stalker. Then you had Liar Liar, who was he was not a con man, but he was a creepy guy. He was a crook who lied to his kid. And they were all comedic, yeah, but they were all different, like far more different than anything fucking Sandler was doing at the time, but still.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, the Sandler's most different one was probably Waterboy.
I wouldn't even say that because he was still a loudmouth buffoon.
True.
I love my mama very much. And then he kicks the guy in the face. Like, And his laugh's always the same. Hang, 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 hang. All right, calm down, Seth. Jake's gonna be in the corner of his buddies at Sacrifice.
Mm-hmm.
Yay! Then we have the AEW Dynamite segment with the Tony Khan and Tony Schiavone. Schiavone. I don't know if you watched the AEW pay-per-view from Sunday.
I didn't. I absolutely did not, and I know just from what Shivani or I think Tony Khan said, and saying something on YouTube that the exploding barbed wire ring didn't actually blow up or some bullshit like that.
I'll put it to you in a context you can understand. Remember how silly the electrified barbed wire steel cage match was?
Yes.
The explosions at the end of the exploding barbed wire match between Moxley and Omega made the electrified steel cage feel like Mick Foley's Hell in a Cell 1998 match. Yeah, it was bad. They go over all the little details. Tony Khan again says something positive about Impact, I guess. He mentions Christian Cage being a former Impact champion and doesn't try to bear it at the company when he says it. So I'll take that as a victory.
Yeah.
So that's cool. If you want to know more about how we felt about Revolution or whatever it was called, we did a review of it. It'll be up on the website here after we're done with the show because I forgot to do it beforehand. So I'll be posting that the WCW and the Wrestler of the Week while I watch Resident Alien. So yeah, keep an eye out for that. Good Brothers and Finjuice signed their contracts. I'm excited for this one. Should be interesting. Are you excited for the Finjuice Good Brothers tag team title match at No Surrender or Sacrifice or Sacrasender or no for Price? One of those has got to be right.
Yeah, I'm interested in it. I would be very interested to see if they put Finjuice over and give them even just like a couple weeks with the belt, honestly.
I'd be down with it.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the easy thing to do is like they're not. I mean, these are New Japan guys. We're not going to give them the titles, but if that's just going to be the standard how things are done with like cross promotional talent, then what the fuck is the point?
I do agree to an extent. I think part of the point is to get them appeal in America because they're New Japan talent. New Japan is still trying to build their base in America. Plus, it gives the Good Brothers a big name on their repertoire of victories. But I don't think any of the AEW New Japan guys need to go over, mostly because they're all being used so much better than past versions of these deals. Now, I won't say everyone, because like you think about like Marufuji when he came over for Bound for Glory with Michael Elgin, he only had a few matches, but they were really impressive matches. So I feel like even if they don't win, I still feel like they showed New Japan that they will book their talent with respect, which is something that Vince Russo and company didn't always do. So I think we're in a good place right here, personally. Then we go on. It's Ace Austin versus the Chris Bay. Impact is calling it an instant classic. Zachary, do you agree with that?
I don't know about that. I'll definitely say it was a really good match, but an instant classic, I'm not completely sold.
But Impact called it an instant classic, and that's how they roll. Remember when that was Christian Cage's nickname, the Instant Classic? I can speak clearly now that the rain is gone. I can speak clearly now the rain is gone. So when Christian debuted in TNA in 2005 at Genesis, do you remember how he debuted and like all the trappings that came around with it?
I don't, honestly.
So they debuted him midway of the show because it had already leaked that he was joining the company. So he comes out
Mhm.
and Demore and I think like Eric Young come out to try to convince him to join Team Canada. He comes out in the main event, which was, remember correctly, Team 3D and Rhino versus Jeff Jarrett, Monty Brown, and Jeff Jarrett and AMW. And Christian comes out and he's wearing a Team Canada shirt, and it was the classic TNA shirt, TNA, because it's Team Canada. And everyone's like, yeah. And then he turns and hits, I think, Demore with the Unprettier and then sides with the good guys. And then 8 months later, he's a villain. I think they ruined, I shouldn't say ruined. I think they had a misstep. I think if he had joined Team Canada that night, that would have been awesome. Oh, that would have been so cool. I wonder about that. It would have given Team Canada a whole new legs. You would have had a whole new storyline, a possibility of P.D. Williams being replaced as the captain and how he feels about that and him maybe trying to prove that he's better than Christian. Like, there's so much potential with that storyline. I bring that up because Christian's now in AEW, and I thought it was topical. So you want to feel old?
That makes sense.
You want to feel old?
I would love to. I seek every day trying to find ways to make myself feel old.
So Christian debuted in Impact in 2005. That was about 15 and a half, 16 years ago. 16 years ago, I was 19. Oh, 18. I was 18. So what were you, like 12?
Almost 14.
14. Oh, only 4 years apart.
My birthday is on Monday.
It is.
Yes.
I knew that.
You know.
I'm going all Marge Simpsons here. Let's see if I remember it. Quick, Facebook. Don't forget. So Bay wins. There was some shenaniganry with TJP coming out and whatnot, and Fulton was there, and yada yada yada, blah 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 yakada schmackada. Josh Alexander then goes and confronts TJP inside Swinger's Palace and tells him that he is going to take the belt from him. No. Then we get Rohit criticizing Shera for his performance. Shera doesn't like this and basically says, I can beat you up. To be fair, Zach could probably beat up Rohit. That's not much of an accomplishment.
No, it's really not.
No, it's not. Zach's not a weakling. It's more weedery. Like the drunk kicker and the replacements. He's weary. Saying wiry, but... But I wouldn't take Zach in most fights. But maybe against Rohit. I think he got the reach on Rohit. I would just fucking suplex him like 60 goddamn times. You saw me. I'm as wide as I am tall. I will wreck people. I will come from underneath and send you to hell below. Suplex City, bitch. Susan took on ODB won, but the villains are all like, Trish, what is that from? What am I thinking of? Oh, it's Dale
idea.
Dale Gribble going, in Hank of the Hill. Have you never seen Hank of the Hill?
I've never seen that. I mean, I've seen a couple episodes, but it never really did anything for me.
It's one of those that I think if you watch it enough, you understand what they're going for, and you really get into it. Like, I watched every episode, and I loved it. I thought it was great. You know, Hank, that's how the FBI tracks you, by putting little devices in your toilet paper. Dale, shut the hell up. Then Hank just smacks him. Speaking of smacking, new villain stable, I guess. It's Fire and Flava, Deanna Prazzo, Susan, and Kimberly. I have no idea what they're going to call themselves. Should be interesting. They might not be even a real faction, but they're factioning right now, and I think they're like 3/5 of the roster.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if that's a good idea to go 5 deep, but
Yeah, I mean, outside of them, what do you got? Tennille, Rosemary, Havoc, and Nevaeh, I believe.
you also have Jazz and Jordan Grace and ODB. That's
Yeah,
ace.
well, I was excluding everyone that was actually in the ring.
No, well, I'm not because we got to get like an accurate representation of how deep this fucking faction is. So like you're looking at like 5 of 13 or something like that. So
Yeah. And I don't know. I'm not gonna say that they're a faction. They're two separate factions feuding with one faction essentially.
technically, it's a trio and a tag team, neither of which is a faction.
Whatever.
Whatever. Whatever. Zach, damn it! Stop blaming it on the bossa nova.
What the hell else am I gonna blame it on?
I don't know. You're repugnant. You're duplicious. You're Scandinavian chinchilla. I don't know. Do you have a Scandinavian chinchilla?
No.
You should get one.
No, thank you. I have a Pembroke Welsh Corgi, and it fills me with joy.
I don't know what the difference between a Pembroke Welsh Corgi is and a Swedish chinchilla. I forgot where it's from. Norwegian.
Thought it was Scandinavian.
There it is. Isn't that Scandinavia? Norway? Like Norway, Sweden, and Finland? Scandinavia?
One of those is not Scandinavia, because Denmark is Scandinavia, and it cuts out one of the other ones.
Fuck you, Sweden. No one likes you. You Swiss fucks.
It's probably Sweden.
Yeah, it's probably Sweden. I don't know why I'm being... Yeah. I don't know why I'm being offensive towards the Swedes.
Never did anything to anybody.
Well, that's debatable.
Yeah, I mean, technically it's Switzerland that just stays out of everything.
Except for making good chocolate that gives people diabetes. Wilford Brimley's waging a war. So, you know, I watch those tiny house videos. I watch tiny house videos. Did you know that?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So
you mentioned it.
The guy Bryce goes around like New Zealand and Australia a lot, especially during the pandemic. You know, he can't really travel that much. And I noticed something that Australians or New Zealanders specifically say all the time. So, like, you know how in America we have like multiple different kind of like idiosyncrasies to our languages, to like our regions, our y'alls and what have you. And Canada's always like, eh. The thing that I see that New Zealanders do, and I don't know why, and they do it all the time in these videos. They say, yeah, okay. And you may think that doesn't mean anything. Here's an example. So, Tim, tell me about your house. Yeah, okay. When you put in your kitchen and you use this wood, did you find it easy? Yeah, okay. Every fracking time. Must be great having time with your wife and kids. Yeah, okay. And then they go on into their little spiel. And like even when they're not prompted, they say it. Oh man, this is a wonderful slice of paradise you found here. Yeah, okay. Like what are you doing, New Zealand? What? You don't believe me, but I'm telling you, you watch enough of these videos and you won't not notice it. You'll be like, oh my God, they do it. You'll be like John Travolta from Welcome Back, Kotter. Oh my God, Mr. Kotter. You don't believe me, do you?
Oh, I believe you.
Yeah, quite.
I just have no response.
Watch, like, just go watch Living Big in a Tiny World, and you'll be like, oh my god, all these people say, yeah, okay. I just love it. I find it like very interesting. Anyway, so we then get the big main event announcement. It's going to be Swan v Moose, Impact v TNA, title for title. Winner gets Kenny Omega, and another title for title at Rebellion. Woo! Woo! So this is going to be interesting. Are you excited for titleness? And then for titleness against Kenny Omega?
I am, but I'm also like part of me with the ad stipulation of the winner of this one goes on to face Kenny Omega in another title for title.
Mm-hmm.
It makes me feel like Swan is gonna go over instead of Moose.
Well, I'm not going to
And I'm not
spoil
cool with that.
anything. You're not cool with that?
I'm not cool with that.
What
I want the Moose.
What if the Moose loses to the Swan, and then the Swan loses to the Kenny, but then the Kenny loses to the Moose?
I mean, I could take that.
Right. It's those little things, man. It's those little things. So we've been doing this for half an hour. Why the fuck am I doing this show for half an hour with you? Let's run through Sacrifice, make our predictions. Havoc and Avia taking on Tenille, Tenizzle, and Caleb.
I'm gonna go to Neil and Caleb just to further the Havoc Nevaeh storyline.
They finally got one. It's not a great one, but they got one.
It's the very standard tag team turmoil storyline.
Speaking
And not
of,
the match type either.
No, speaking of turmoil though, it's gonna be a turmoil in Terror Dome Sky something when Reno Scum takes on Decay with Rosemary. By the way, I had two in picking Nevaeh and the Jessica Havoc. Don't know if that's who you picked. That's who I'm picking.
Yeah. Yes.
Who are you picking for Decay v Reno Scum?
I am picking Decay because unfortunately obviously big fan of Decay, but unfortunately for the Reno Scums, they don't seem to be the winners.
No. And unfortunately for them, I don't see them having Black Taurus losing. So
No.
I do hope the Scum gets some wins because they fucking deserve it. We then get Violent by Design taking out Storm and Sabin. Young will be in VBD's corner, and Jake Something will be in the corner of Storm and Sabin. I'm gonna go with Violent by Design. I feel like they need a win if they're going to stay pertinent and relevant. And I feel like with someone like Joe Doring in your stable, you can't afford to just start eating losses, especially when he's wrestling.
Yeah. Having Diener just lose to Jake Something a couple times just right out of the gate, it's not great.
No, it's not. Not great. Not great at all. Now, if they have Diener win a bunch of times in a row, then that just makes Jake Something look even better. But you got to have Diener win.
That's true.
So I'm picking VBD to win in terms of need and necessity, but my heart will always remain in Michigan. You're here. There's nothing I fear. That's the best I can do at this point. My heart will go on.
She's a Canadian national treasure.
No, she's not. She may be Canadian, she may be national, and she may have a lot of money that equates to a treasure, but those three things do not exist in the same sentence. Eddie versus Myers in a hold harmless match. Dumb. Okay. I'm gonna pick Dead Eddie because I don't know. I don't know what's going on with Bad Mood Brian or Sad Mood Brian or Mad Mood Myers. Triple M.
I'm also going with Eddie because he should not be losing to Brian Myers. How many different names do we need for a no DQ match?
We're still going, so we'll find out. It's all about the game and how you play it. It's all about shoots and ladders. It's all about the cards and who can take it. It's all about Candyland. You know you can't make it. Because Brian Myers is terrible. It's just like all those games.
Shoots and ladders is actually pertinent to wrestling.
Is it?
Yes. I mean, different kind of shoots, but you know.
Do
ladder matches?
I was about to say they do use ladders. That's a fair comparison. Fair apt comparison.
And some people like to do shoots.
Yes. I will be going with Eddie, so we'll move on. TJP v Austin, Ace Austin, X Division title. They just did that little segment with Josh Alexander trying to prompt a rematch, which I think will probably happen either at the pay-per-view on April, Rebellion, or Slammiversary. So I don't see TJP dropping the belt to Ace Austin. So TJP retains. No. What about you?
Yeah, I agree. I don't see why you have Ace Austin lose to Bay right beforehand if he's going to go over. It just doesn't make sense booking wise. And Josh Alexander still being around, which is good because Josh Alexander versus TJP was fantastic. You gotta keep it with TJP.
Then we got the Knockouts title match. It's Deanna Pratza versus ODB. I expect Deanna to win, but how great would it be if ODB actually won? That would be awesome. Zach, thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely do not see Deanna Prazzo losing to ODB. I don't know, obviously with the Knockouts titles, tag team titles coming back, they wanted to shift their focus to that, but there hasn't been a strong Knockouts singles championship feud for quite some time.
True. I thought, did we? Oh yeah, no, there is no Knockouts tag team title match on this card. Oh no, there is. Never mind. I was premature. The Good Brothers v FinJuice Impact World Tag Team titles. I'm gonna pick FinJuice just because I can't. Not with these bald bearded bastards, man. I can't. So FinJuice, because it's got fin or juice. That's what I like. Juice Robinson.
I would also like the FinJuice to win because I'm on board with you. I don't understand the appeal of the Good Brothers, but at the same time, I feel like Good Brothers are probably gonna retain.
Our first split. Oh no. G Ording and G as taking on Fee Iyer and Fee Leva. God, I would hate myself.
That was weird.
Yeah, I know, right? Fee Lava. The lava. Hey, can I get some flavel? It's molten hot falafel, if you need to know. Who are you taking? The champs or the challengers?
I'm going to take the challengers on this one.
Solid idea.
Yeah.
I'm going to take the champions.
Ooh.
We've now split twice. Main event time. TNA v Impact Championship. I'm going to refrain from picking because I already know who wins. And I don't want to spoil.
Why you do this?
I'm not saying nothing. I'm not. I'm not even gonna hit. I'm saying like I'm not picking because I know who wins.
Okay. Well, you know who wins. Now, putting that aside,
Mm-hmm.
if you didn't know who was going to win, who would you book to win?
If
Put
the
your booker's
eventual
cap on.
if the eventual end game is to get to Kenny Omega, I think you go with Swan. Because I think Swan and
Mm-hmm.
Omega will give you a more highlight reel match, which with AEW is part of the reason of why they want to use the guys they're using. They want to
Mm-hmm.
have that ability to have like the bumpers on commercials and the highlights on YouTube, and Swan gives you that. But if the end game wasn't necessarily for Omega, I would consider going with Moose because with Moose you have just the perfect package of a snively, snarling, slithering heel. He doesn't run. He's
Mm-hmm.
not, oh no, I'm a cowardly heel. I need to go to Oz and get some courage. No, he's just a dude who you don't like, and I like that kind of heel. I like rooting
Mm-hmm.
against him. Arr, boo. Boo that man, boo. I think it is time for Moose, but as long as Moose wins the world title at some point this year, I think I'll be
Yes,
happy. But that being said, he's already a world champion, so like,
that's fair. That is fair.
I'll make a prediction. I'll
Um.
make a prediction.
Oh, prediction.
The black guy is gonna win.
Oh shit.
Good
Just throwing spoilers all over the place, man.
spoilers, big swings, big hot takes. What about you? Who do you think is gonna win, and who do you want to win?
I want Moose to win because I'm not high on. I mean, Swan as world champion is just eh,
Mm-hmm.
and especially after Moose was interjected into the tag team main event against AEW and showed just how on top of his game he is.
Mm-hmm.
I would rather see Omega versus Moose, but if Swan wins, then I definitely see Omega going over on Swan, and then hopefully at say either Slammiversary or whatever the fuck pay per view AEW is gonna have, Moose takes on Omega and gets the championship back. I'd be okay with that.
Now that would be interesting. Having Moose defeat Kenny Omega on a AEW pay per view, I think I could be really okay with that. Give and take, give and take.
Especially if yes, I mean, if Impact is gonna lose on their own pay per view, then AEW can do the same.
I like that. That's a good idea. So we'll see if Moose or Swan can walk out with the belt on Saturday. I will agree with you. I've not been a big fan of the Swan title reign. So, we'll see one way or another if it ends on Saturday. Impact Plus, finally have access to it. After 2 months, I finally got an email back too. And now I'm so salty about it. I'm going to make them wait until I reply.
I'm sure they're waiting just on the edge of their seats, man.
I'm the only one who has been day one all day long. Not just for Impact Plus, not just for the Global Force or Global Wrestling, whatever the fuck that dumb app was called, the Global Wrestling Network. But I was day one all day long for the Impact On Demand streaming service. Remember that one? From 10 years ago. So yeah, they best know who I am. They don't. And I blame it on the Bossa Nova. Zach, any final things to mention?
Nothing from me on this one.
RealNerdCorp.com, RealNerdCorp.com. We're on Twitter at NERDCRP. We're on Instagram at RealNerdCorp. Zach can be found on Instagram and DeviantArt at Radiance2020, RADIANCE2020. Excuse me, my acid reflux.
You do not need the space in there.
You don't, or the burp, although it is optional.
It is.
So it's RADIANCE2020. You can find me on Twitter at Chad Nerdcorp, CHEDNERDCORP, and on the Instagram at Chad's Photo Hut. I just uploaded some new photos that Zachary liked. You didn't realize that was me, did you?
I did not know.
Yeah. Those were my photos that you liked. Wait. Why does it say that you no longer liked my photo? Oh, you bastard.
No, I absolutely knew who that was.
Okay. So follow us all there.
I was like, oh, Chad posted photos for the first time in a while. That's cool.
3 a.m. Blame it on the Bossa Nova. We'll be back next Wednesday around 9 o'clock for another edition of Making an Impact. Although, actually, hold off on the time. We may have to go a little early just because the Cavs may be back by next Wednesday and maybe playing next Wednesday. And then I got to find a way to supplement Cavs and fucking covering Resident Alien and doing the show. So like, just check Twitter. NERDCORP. With all that being said, we're done for this week. We'll be back next week. For Zachary Tyler, I'm Chad Porter. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for checking us out. Thanks for giving us a chance. And as always, remember to watch more wrestling. And Zachary, take us home.
Good night, Rich Swan.